Today on What It's Like, 1962 Studebaker Lark Daytona, newly designed by Brooks Stevens. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like. This channel, we cover the lost and forgotten classics, vintage, some exotics. This channel is home for the orphan cars and cars that are off the beaten path. If that sounds like a channel that interests you and something that you would totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Be sure to stick around for Name That Tune at the end, as well as sneak peeks for our next episode. And there's something completely random at the end of each episode. It might be a blooper, it might be an impression, it might be a song. The random thing is completely new. If you're in the market for a 1962 Studebaker Lark Daytona, this one is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania. This place is absolutely epic with over 870 cars for sale when recording this episode. And get this, anybody can go there and it's totally free to get in. For more information, pricing, and pictures of the Lark Daytona, click the link below after the show. Let's talk 1962 Studebaker model lineup. These aren't in any particular order. Champ pickup truck. They did offer a truck line as well. Avanti, Gran Turismo Hawk, wagons, and then there was the Lark. Studebaker offered the Lark from 1959 to 1966 in 3 generations. 1962 falls in the second generation, which had a production run from 1962 to 1963. The Lark was Studebaker's compact car offering, and compact car offerings in the US were very few and far between in the 50s. Yes, you could get, in the early 50s, there was a lot of compact car offerings, but by the late 50s, there wasn't that many. Rambler, you could still get a Rambler in the compact form. Studebaker absolutely killed it with the Lark in the late 50s, but by the early 60s, things had totally changed, with competition coming from Chevy and Ford. 61 sales slumped to just 70,513 units. They needed a facelift, which was done on a shoestring budget, came courtesy of Brooks Stevens. The redesign placed the sedans and the wagons on the longer 113-inch wheelbase, 2-door coupe, and convertible on the 109-inch chassis. Depending on the model, the redesign was between 8 and 13 inches longer than the 1961 model. Let's go over some of the styling changes. The 61 is on top, the 62 is on the bottom. Starting in the front, front grille has been totally redesigned. The 61 has a bit of a slant, whereas the 62 was more of straight on with a very slightly pointed out area. For 1962, the Lark featured quad headlights, which were available across all the Lark models. It's worth mentioning that the Mark 8 had quad headlights as well in 1961, but the regular Lark had the dual headlights with running lights and or turn signals mounted inward. Moving to the side profile of the 62 has different moldings and doesn't have the dip. The 62 also has more pronounced rear quarter section, and I really like it. The part that I really love is the line that comes off of the rear wheel well and just keeps going out the back. It almost turns into like a side fin before it exits the rear. The biggest change styling-wise in 62 was to the rear section, and I find it way more attractive than the 61, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Dash layout is virtually the same, just the gauge faces are designed differently. 1962 Studebaker Lark could be had as a 2-door sedan, 4-door sedan, 2-door coupe, 2-door convertible, 4-door wagon. Could be had in 4 trim levels. The Deluxe was the base model, and it doesn't have any chrome trim, white gauge inserts, rubber floor mats. Cruiser was next. It had vent windows in the rear doors, black faced gauges, extra padding around the radio, bottom of the dash, fold down rear armrest in the center. Regal was at the top. It had chrome everywhere with the black face gauges and carpet. The Lark Daytona was something totally different. It was outside of these trims and it only came in 2 body styles, the 2-door hardtop, 2-door convertible. It featured front bucket seats in a front console, black faced gauges, and different interior patterns with wood grain dash. Let's talk specs. 184 inches long, 74.4 inches wide, 57.5 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 109 inches. It weighs 3,315 pounds. Price, $2,814, which is equivalent to you spending $27,655.19 in the year 2023. Total 1962 Studebaker Lark production was 102,387 units. of which total Daytona convertible production was 2,681 units. Moving on to engines. Starting in the proverbial basement, 169 cubic inch displacement overhead valve, inline 6, 2.8 liters. It's good for 112 horsepower, 4,500 RPM. Compression is 8.25 to 1 with a bore of 3 inches and a stroke of 4 inches. Moving up to the rare 259 cubic inch displacement V8, 4.2 liters. It's good for 180 horsepower at 4,500 RPM with a bore of 3.6 inches and a stroke of 3.3 inches with a compression rating of 8.5 to 1. Sitting at the top was the 289 cubic inch displacement V8, 4.7 liters in 2 flavors. This one makes 210 horsepower. There was another one that makes 225 horsepower, both at 4,500 RPM. Bore is 3.6 inches with a stroke of 3.6 inches. Compression is 8.5 to 1. Moving on to transmissions, there were 2 transmissions on offer, 3-speed manual or the 4-speed Borg-Warner T10 4-speed manual. There is one really cool option that I want to talk about, and that was the Sky Top, which was a canvas top that rolled back, much like what the Europeans were doing at the time, or even what Rambler was doing in the early 50s. Let's talk styling. This looks very Mercedes-esque to me, especially the front grille section. And it's worth mentioning that there was a connection between both brands. Studebaker did sell Mercedes-Benz from 1957 to 1963, and they even serviced them too. Look at how the grille is pushed ever so slightly forward and how the lights are sculpted in the body. The top of the hood section and the fenders mimicking what Chevy and AMC were doing at the time. I love how the fender flares out ever so slightly around the wheel arches. Notice where the chrome work starts. The bright work wraps back around here and goes the whole way back. It gets bigger right past the door where the Daytona is and then goes out the back. My favorite line on this whole car is this arch right here. It's flared and it gets more pronounced and more protruded and turns into a side fin as it comes out the back. Coming to the rear section back here, just check out how pronounced that rear deck section is. It looks very reminiscent. I wonder if Aston Martin drew inspiration for this for their new hideous SUV because it has the same shape. Studebaker looks better than the Aston Martin does. This door's pretty heavy. Check out all of up here. This is padded. Nice quality feeling material. This feels different than that. This is more of a vinyl material. Armrest as well as door handle to pull the door shut. This is the window crank for the big window. Operates like that. Look at, it's all trimmed out. It's got this nice groove to fit over top of the weather seal over here. A vent window and it works like this. So just check that out. This is the door handle to get out. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, got a high beam switch on the floor. This right here, I had something very similar to that in my 67 Mustang. That operates the windshield washer, I believe. Brake pedal, gas pedal. This is for the hood, which will pop that real quick. This looks like it's for a vent, and this looks like it's for the passenger side vent. Just take a gander at this interior. So just check out the dog leg situation. Like I said in previous videos, I've never had an issue with this. I always just kind of get in by putting my leg here and then swivel in. I've never smacked my leg off of that. So that's what it sounds like when the door shuts. Here's what over the hood impression looks like. Here's what first person over the hood looks like. On to the button switches and knobs. 3 pods sit directly in front of the driver. Speedometer with odometer inside of it. At the bottom of the dashboard, there is a red T-style handle that is for the hood release. Headlights, fan, heater. Clock is in the center. Coolant temperature. Gas gauge. Both the amp meter and oil pressure are idiot lights. Drive modes read park, neutral, drive, low, reverse, lighter, wiper, ignition, radio. Up above, there's some sun visors. There's my hand for reference. They're pretty good size. Rear view mirror, another sun visor over here, as well as the mechanism for the convertible tops up there as well. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here is our glove box in question. So it fits, but it won't shut. Move it over here real quick. Yeah, it's just not deep enough. This one does have a center console, and it looks like that. Ashtray in the center. Getting in the back seat. So just fold the seat forward like that, and that is how much space you have to get back there. I'm on it. All right. So here's my knee situation. It's kind of cramped back here, to be honest. The seat back is really upright. The seat cushion is really relaxed. It's not depressed in the back as much as a lot of cars from the 50s are. It is bulging in the center here, so it has a little bit of a hump, and it is really wide. Like, here's my hand for reference. So it's like 3 or almost 2.5 of my hand. Windows go down like this. So just check that out. That's really cool. You can see all the workings of the convertible top and the ribs. There isn't any armrest back here, nor is there a center armrest in the center here. The ashtrays are located on the back of the seat. So there's one there, and there's one over here. Same thing on this side. There isn't an armrest. I mean, I guess you could put your arm up on top of this thing for the convertible top. Here's what the front looks like from the back, and here is a quick look at what the greenhouse looks like. That's what the rear view looks like out the back windshield. There is a space back here while the convertible top is up to store more stuff. All right. We popped the hood from inside. There is another catch. It's a J catch. You see it in here. You move it off to the right hand side. Oh man, look at that. They stuffed it in here. $289. Brake master cylinder there. Non-power assisted. It's got a generator horn. It's only got a single horn. All right, now it's time for the pros and cons section. We are getting all of these pros and cons from the complete book of collectible cars, blue chip auto investments, 70 years from 1930 to 2000 by Richard M. Langworth, and the auto editors of Consumer Guide. On the positive side, economical collector car, by size and character appropriate, low production ragtops. On the cons, the usual Studebaker rust problems, spotty fit and finish, and somewhat hard to find. Now it's time for Name That Tune. I'm looking for the first person that will give me the correct name of the band, as well as song title. First person to do so will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. I read and answer all comments posted. Second way is we have a Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more involved in the car community that this channel is, be sure to check out the Facebook link. I will put it in the description. So if I catch you on there or on here, just know that I appreciate all of the support. And until next time, oh wait, here's some scenes for our next episode. 1959 Plymouth Sport Fury convertible. This car was absolutely incredible. It is very quirky, and I can't wait to feature it tomorrow. That's what's coming up next on What It's Like. Until tomorrow, toodaloo! Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. You're a monster.